Hey everybody, this is Javi, and you are watching the Bowtie Psychic on YouTube. I'm a psychic and intuitive medium who focuses on generational trauma and ancestral healing through divination. So I'm glad that you're here, and this is the last video for the month of June, and I am pulling cards for Pisces. Uh, so before I even get started, I have like this tightness in my throat and in my chest. So that pretty much tells me that something's going on as far as communication and standing in one's own power and actually like being an adult about things and standing in that adult energy. I'm also getting a lot of not exactly heartache, but just like this tightness in my chest as if someone is like something is pulling me. I'm feeling a lot of I'm feeling a lot of pain too in my teeth and when I feel anything around my mouth is about communication and being heard. Um, Anything that's going on around my teeth, spirit. It's also around being heard. I, and being seen as an adult. I'm getting like cutting teeth. So basically, this has anything to do with the teeth. In this part of it's about adulthood and having baby teeth. um, it's and your teeth, your adult teeth having to come through. Um, so this has everything to do with immaturity and being seen as an adult. Um, and the tightness in my chest. This has something to do with abandonment. That feeling of hurt. It's not love, it's abandonment that I'm getting from this. Um, so let's see what the cards are saying. So you got four cards here, Aquarius, or not Aquarius, but Pisces. And so what I'm getting right now, even like my voice feels like, so someone's either I'm also getting to someone's either sick and they can't talk anyway, so their voice is going out. So that's why I'm getting that too. Like someone's voice is going out, so they may have some bronchitis or some sort of sore throat or a cold. It tells me that their voice is going out. So drink plenty of tea, and drink plenty of liquids. Anything with lemon or peppermint. Peppermint is really good for throat stuff. Um, but drinking like hot liquids in general, especially tea, um, anything with ginger. I'm getting ginger, and yeah, even now I feel very sick. So someone is not feeling well. Someone is not feeling well out there. So, like I was just coughing not too long ago, and my teeth hurt. So, so basically, what you got here, Pisces, is the hero card upside down. You're not speaking up for yourself, and you're not showing up for yourself as far as as you're just being scared. You're being afraid of stepping into your power and speaking up because you feel like you're not going to be taken seriously. You feel like you're not going to be taken seriously. And so you are seen as a protagonist of your own story. You are the protagonist. In fact, in all stories, the protagonist is usually the hero. And so what I'm getting from this card, this upside down, is that you're not being the protagonist in your story. You're actually You're not exactly waiting on someone else to take that spot, but you are really afraid of showing up and being and taking yourself out of that situation, of whatever situation that you're in, Pisces. This is not about having your head in the clouds or anything like that. You really are afraid of showing any sort of assertiveness because that's what heroes do. That's what heroes do. Um, Let me drink some water here. That feels so much better. That sickness is not mine. I'm actually healthy. So basically, what I'm getting from this particular card um, is that with you're not showing up, and you're really afraid of being assertive. That assertiveness in that leadership energy that is needed here, Pisces, it's not coming up. It's not showing up. And the reason why that's being put is because you're afraid that if you were to ask for any sort of help whatsoever, or to stand up and open your mouth to say something, chances are you feel like that person is either going to not take you seriously, or you feel like they're going to laugh at you, or you feel like they're just going to say no and abandon you altogether because they feel like you cannot take care of yourself. That's not the case at all. You are able to take care of yourself. You are really, really capable of taking care of yourself. But there are times when people feel like you are loopy or feel that they don't believe in what you're doing, especially if you're doing any sort of spiritual work. I'm just getting in general, not just spiritual work, but in general because you're actually really known for being a Pisces. Basically, you're known for being very imaginative, very flighty. What I mean flighty, I should say just imaginative, not flighty. You're just known for being in the spiritual world, more so than not. A lot of your thoughts are just not in reality. You just have like a faith that everything's going to work out. Like you literally fly by the seat of your pants the majority of the time, and so people, they really do not. You feel like people do not believe in your vision. People do not believe in your life, people, especially your spiritual life. People just automatically look at you and see a child because there are times when you have that childlike energy, and that's really not bad. It's just that there are times when life gets too serious, you have a tendency to revert back to that childlike energy, and so or you're just be a lot. Let me back up. A lot of you are the babies in the family too. That's where a lot of you are very much babies in the family. You're the youngest child, and so you are used to having things, given to you. You're literally are the ones that are given a little bit more slack than the older children, than the older Pisceans, because um, you are the baby of the family. Okay, a lot of the stuff that the oldest and the middle child had to go through, your parents are now so tired. Because I'm getting a lot of parent energy from this too. So basically, what I'm getting, your parents and your guardians, y'all, they have the tendency to give you a lot more slack because as they have gotten older and um, have become um, parents, over the years, over and over again over the years, they now, when by the time they come to you, especially for some reason, this is for the baby Pisces, those who are the youngest child. It was born like the last one. You're the last one. You know what I mean? I'm also getting to that. Like by the time the parents have come to you, they're like, we're pretty much done being strict. We're pretty much done being uh, we're just done. Like at this point, like they're tired, and they feel like they're willing to give you more slack simply because you are the child. And so, a lot of you baby Pisces, a lot of you who are the babies of your families, that's what it is. A lot of you have not stepped up and taken responsibility for your life, have not taken responsibility in general because you rarely had any responsibilities growing up. everything was pretty much done for y'all. Everyone was pretty much was done with y'all. Like for a lot of you, your life was handed down to you. You know, hand and foot was passed. Like yes, some of you got the hand me down clothes, but at the same time, y'all literally your parents when it comes to your behaviors and your you got a lot more leeway than your other siblings. Okay, as a result of that, like life, the way you perceive life, um, everything that you think and feel, um, it does not resonate with that of the older kids. You see everything as a handout, and so as a result of that, you're being told to quit being the child, to quit being the child, because you're like this is for this particular energy is actually for the younger Pisceans. Quit being the child because it's time for you to grow up um, and basically live on your own, to be by yourself, to see how the world is. Um, because on a spiritual level, you're not here to just like do for you and do handouts. You're not going to be abandoned, and you're not going to um, be. You're not going to be abandoned. Not everyone is going to not take you serious, but you the reason why you're not taken seriously because there are many times when you had the opportunity to stand up for your life, to stand up for your livelihood, stand up for yourself, and you didn't because you were not taught to. You never had to, for the most part. So now you're literally being told it's time for you to stand up and stand up and do for yourself. Also, I'm I'm getting like for some reason I'm getting a lot of energy back and forth from the youngest Pisces. If you're the youngest of the family, also it's the oldest of the family, the the oldest of the family. What I am getting, and I'm just getting like family dynamics when it comes to family. And so this card is also for the oldest and the middle. So the oldest, all three of you, oldest, middle, and youngest. But this is definitely talking to the youngest as well. What I'm also getting for um, the oldest child, the oldest Piscean, is that um, this is time for you to tap into your childlike energy. You've been taught to grow up because you were the firstborn. You were the firstborn, you were the family historian. So, as a result of you being the family historian, you had to put up with a lot of your parents' stuff. I'm not getting any sort of abuse or anything, although a lot of you have been abused. Don't get me wrong. A lot of you have gone through abuse in some way, shape, or form. But I'm also getting too. I'm not getting like a this urgent, traumatic history vibe from these particular spreads because you have like four cards here. What I'm getting is that you were taught to grow up, and a lot of things that your younger sibling was doing, you were not able to do. You did not get a lot of leeway. You were taught to grow up very fast. You were taught to grow up and to be the responsible one. So as a result of that, your childlike energy is not there. Your childlike energy, older Pisces, firstborn Pisces, your childhood energy is not there. So you are taught with this card, with this child card right here, you're being told by spirit to tap into that. Tap into that childlike energy. Tap into that childlike energy. Remember what you used to be like before you were told. What are your interests? What are your interests? What do you like to do? Like, what is it about your childhood? What hobby did you have before you were told to grow up? What hobbies did you have that fed your spirit? You know, as a older Pisces, as a Pisces, uh, excuse me, I'm sorry, as a child. What did you used to do as a child? What did you used to do? What brought you joy? What brought you happiness? What brought a smile to your face? What made you giggle? Whatever that was, start doing it today. Whatever that was, start doing it, um, so you can tap into that childlike energy that was literally, not exactly taken from you, but basically, that you were told to grow out of, but way before your time. Way before your time. As for the middle child, you're being taught is with that card, middle child Piscean, to know that you're not invisible. I'm getting like there's like this sort of invisibility. You have like, especially like if you came from a family like, that was constantly busy or constantly being mindful of the behavior of the oldest and the youngest child. Please be aware that you were not invisible. You're important. I just feel like a lot of y'all, um, a lot of you, you just felt like you fell through the cracks. The middle child who are Pisces, you fell through the cracks. A lot of you feel as if, no one was paying attention to you or your achievements or your endeavors, and there's a lot of resentment and emo energy that I'm getting from y'all. A lot of emo energy and a lot of emptiness. Um, that's where a lot of that heartache comes from. Like you felt like you were abandoned. You felt like you were abandoned, middle child Piscean. You felt very, very, isolated from your family emotionally because you felt like no one was paying attention to what you were doing. Yeah, I'm just feeling like you were like I just see like this black like smudge or like around you, like over you, because it's as if someone like marked you out. And as a result of that, like you're like there's like this bitterness and like this feeling of abandonment. This is a time, and for one, I'm sorry that that happened to you. I'm sorry that that you went through that whole struggle. I'm sorry that you, felt as if no one was paying attention to you or your achievements. You were basically, I mean, from Spirit, the Lisa Simpson of your family, where you felt like you were the smartest. You felt like you were um, the most charming. You felt like you were the most intellectual, the most creative, and no one was paying attention to what you were doing. A lot of you were playing instruments, to be honest with you. It was your way of sticking out. It was your way of making noise. You enjoyed it, but it was your way of freedom and expression. But this is a time for you to work through that feeling of abandonment. It's time for you to work through that feeling because of now a lot of you are grown and you're still carrying that cloak of invisibility around you and over you. It's time to shake that off. It's time for you to shake that off and to work on. Um, yeah, I'm just feeling a lot of hurt, a lot of middle child hurt. I'm not a middle child, so I don't even know what that's like. Um, but I do empathize and sympathize, and I'm so sorry that that happened to you. I'm very sorry that that happened to you. I don't know who need no. I don't know who needs to hear that. I don't know what my middle child Pisces needs to hear that, but I'm sorry that that happened to you. It was like it literally, um, because at this point, like you're so upset, you can't even think about your parents, or you can't even think about your childhood without feeling as if someone ignored you. So I'm getting for you that's learning to forgive. You're not wasting it. You're not a waste of time. You're not wasting time. You're not a waste of time. You're not a waste of skin. You are very brilliant. You're very brilliant. And you're very honored. There are many people in your life who saw your potential and continue to do so. Also, family is what you make it. So what I'm getting is that learn to forgive your circumstances, your past circumstances. Learn to forgive your parents for what happened. It doesn't mean you have to reconcile, but definitely forgive them and forgive yourself for feeling as if somehow being a middle child was your fault, which and that's not the case at all. I'm getting like this is a time for you to release that that cloak of invisibility that's self-imposed, and also start to forgive your circumstances. Be at peace with those circumstances, and to create a family, a chosen family, and to your even if unless or until you're ready to have that conversation with your parents, if that's possible. They may not even know that you felt the way you did. So that's what I'm getting for the middle child. So let me say that one more time for this particular card right here. The middle child, the middle child is to release that cloak of invisibility so they can be seen and heard. The first child, the firstborn, is to tap into their childlike energy. And the middle child is to step up and stop being a child. So that's what I've got for those two cards. And I got the King of Air. This was upside down, y'all. So basically, the King of Air is upside down. So basically, this is a time for Pisceans, basically to change, like to check their thoughts. Pisceans are to check their thoughts. I'm getting it though. The oldest child is to know. No, I'm sorry. For some reason I'm getting the middle child. The middle child Piscean is to change their thoughts around their own livelihood, their own self. They're not invisible. They're not worthless. People are paying attention to them. People are loving them. People are honoring them. They have to say to themselves that they are honorable. They are lovable. They are loving. They are capable. They are to start with I am. Do declarations of, starting with the words I am. They are very positive and very affirming because they felt so invisible for so long. I'm talking about the middle child Piscean. They have felt so, for so long, they have felt a certain way that they really do feel as if they are not to exist, or people are not going to acknowledge them. So they are to do work necessary around that. To say that they are honorable, they are, they are visible, they are stunning, they are charming, they are creative. I am creative. I am valuable. I am seen. I am heard. I am whatever, fill in the blank. as long as it's positive and affirming. It's in their own words. They are to get the middle child is supposed to get rid of. They are being called to get rid of all that stuff that tells them that they are visible and that they're going to be abandoned in some way, shape, or form. And that's not the case. It's not true. It was never true. For the most part, it was not true. It was their imagine not. It was their perception. It was their perception. Their perception. The middle child Piscean is to know that they are loved and cherished. They are loved and cherished. For the oldest Piscean child, the firstborn, they are being told to let go of all thoughts and subconscious messages that they are to be the hero all the time. That they are to save everyone all the time. That they are to look out for everyone all the time and to be the example and to lead by example all the time. As a firstborn, it's not even possible. And that type of pressure is not to be placed on the oldest child anyhow. That's not supposed to happen. But yet it does anyhow. So as far as you're supposed to say, you're not supposed to have any affirmations. I don't apologize, but basically get rid of all messages that you are to be the leader all the time, or you are to be the leader all the time. And for the youngest child, you're supposed to, you're being called to rid yourself from any notion or any idea that you're entitled. I'm talking about the youngest Pisces. It's okay to be a daydreamer. It's okay to be a dreamer, but not at the expense of being an adult. Not the expense of other people, and not the at the expense, not the at the expense of everyone else's comfort. It's not being fair to you, and you're not being fair to anyone else either. It actually causes a lot of conflict when you're not understanding where other people are coming from. You have to understand that your head is not to be in the clouds all the time. And you are to be aware of how other people are are feeling and how they perceive the world. And when it comes to you, young Piscean, baby Piscean, youngest child Piscean, that it's okay to be an adult. And that you're not going to get your way all the time. And that it's okay for you to step up and not lose um, that and lose that childlike energy that you have. And the last card is the Seven of Earth. I have three different messages for each person: middle, oldest, and young Piscean. For the oldest Piscean, it's okay for you to be angry. It's okay for you to live your own life. It's okay for you to have your own dreams and own aspirations. It's okay to daydream. It's okay to dream. It's okay to have silly ideas. It's okay to not care about what other people think. It's okay for you to be practical, to be spiritual, and silly at the same time. It's okay for you to do that, older Piscean. Okay? It's okay for you to be the hero in your own story and don't and not be obligated to take care of other people. For the middle child Piscean, you're being told to step into your own power and to not care about what other people think or how they perceive you. That this is a time for you to stand on your own 2 feet, regardless of how people perceive you. It's okay for you to perceive the world as a whole mess and not be a part of it. It's also okay for you to be weird. If you're going to stand out, do so in an authentic fashion. Don't do it to get attention. Be weird because you are weird, not because you just want to stand out and get attention from people and to stand out in some way, shape, or form. People know when you're being fake, so you might as well be yourself at all times. And young Piscean, the youngest Piscean, the baby Piscean, you're being told to just stay grounded, and not to be so flighty as much, to the point where we have to all tell you to come down to earth. That we have to tell you to basically come back down to orbit and face reality for what it is. This is your opportunity to grow and be the adult that you are wanting so desperately to avoid. Because sooner or later, you are not going to be a child anymore. You can have that childlike energy, but also step up and be an adult and be responsible when it's time to be responsible. It's time. I don't know where that was, but I got like family dynamics with that one. And I just saw three people, and they were all Pisces. And they all represented like the oldest, the middle, and the young child. Spirit wanted me to tell y'all that story, especially, when it comes to family dynamics, because siblings, especially, I'm just like, if you're like part of a sibling unit, y'all all gonna need each other. Y'all all gonna have to get along. You're gonna need each other, and I'm getting that the reason why you are asked like to if you're a Piscean and you're part of a family unit and you're part of a sibling unit, you're part of that system, and you are not getting along, and there was no actual um, If you're not getting along for whatever reason, ask what that reason is, because more likely it has, especially the young Piscean, because more likely it has something to do with your past behavior that you were not able to, for whatever reason, hold yourself accountable for. Siblings are being asked, if you're part of a sibling unit, Pisces, and y'all are not getting along in some way, shape, or form, it's time to either ask yourself why, or to do the work necessary. And basically, whether y'all are reconciled or not, to to do that shadow work necessary so you won't do someone else like that, or you can at least change your behavior. So that type of behavior that caused some sort of trauma or some sort of drama, excuse me, does not show up in another relationship and show up in another family dynamic or another family unit, chosen or blood. I'm not, when I think about trauma, for some odd reason, I'm not getting like something severe, like sexual trauma or um, anything to do with like sexual trauma or like abuse or anything like that. Um, I'm talking about like some traumatic shit, like sex abuse or physical abuse or anything like that. For some reason, I'm not getting anything like that. I'm getting like stuff that's still hurtful, but like somewhat mild, like a sibling rivalry or jealousy, or so like a otherwise normal, friendly sibling competition or a competition among siblings going horribly awry and someone fucking getting hurt. That's what I'm getting. So whatever is happening, whatever happened, you are to put that to rest. You are seriously being asked to put that to rest. Like for real. Like you are to do some work around that. Regardless of you being the middle child, the older or the baby of the family, whatever sibling rivalry happened, y'all need to either squash that or do the work necessary to heal from it, because it's literally affecting your relationship with other people and how you are perceived and how you are perceiving yourself. And there is like some favoritism that happened with like somewhere in your family, Pisces. I'm getting that there is some favoritism that happened, and it's the like somebody, one of your siblings is not happy about this. It is time to ask questions if that's the case. I don't know who needs it, what Piscean needs to hear that, but I'm getting like as far as siblings and sibling rivalry, another cause of that is favoritism. One of you was highly favored by, I'm getting the oldest because they were responsible. Okay, the oldest sibling was less than highly favored, and somebody was upset about it. One of your siblings, oldest Pisces, you were blessed and highly favored by your parents. Or maybe it was the other siblings. I'm getting was what okay. I'm getting it was either you and the other siblings, blessed and highly favored, and some one of your other siblings has a problem with it. Y'all need to have a discussion. Y'all need to have a discussion. Somebody is mad because they didn't get the same level of favors as you did. I'm getting it was either definitely getting it was a middle child. If you were your older Piscean, if this is for you, your older sibling, regardless of the zodiac sign, was upset because you were blessed and highly favored. There are many cases you were, and I'm also getting there were many cases where you were upset that the younger sibling, the youngest of the siblings, was also blessed and highly favored, and you were not, and now you're mad, and now that caused problems. I'm getting there's like some jealousy stuff that's going on between you and your siblings. Y'all need to get that. Y'all need to get that together. Y'all need to get that together because siblings need each other, especially if y'all came from a family that was highly dysfunctional. Granted, nobody may have not been hit or severely abused, but something happened to where there was still some dysfunction. Because let's be real, dysfunctional families are often, or I should say, abuse and trauma does not always come in the form of physical, sexual, or psychological abuse. Sometimes it's emotional. Sometimes it's verbal. Sometimes it's financial. Sometimes it comes in the form of one child, like all your kids, feeling abandoned, or a parent who is an overachiever basically pushes that same energy onto their children. Abuse comes in so many ways. Sometimes abuse doesn't even look like abuse. Sometimes your abuser could smile in your face and still call you all kinds of shit. Or be passive aggressive towards you. I'm getting that happen for the most part towards middle kids who are Pisces. Y'all have parents who are passive aggressive, and it shows. And the only reason, and the only reason why you may um, continuously deal with people who are passive aggressive is because you feel like that's the only type of attention you've gotten from an entire adult. So it's time for folks to do that work, especially it's Cancer season. We're being all that stuff is coming up, all that anger and resentment you had towards this sibling and that sibling or your parents or anyone that was your guardian is now coming up. So it's time for y'all to do that work. It's pretty much time for y'all to do that work. The spirit is with you. Spirit is with you 110%. But it's definitely time for y'all to do the work necessary. So that's all I have for the month of June as far as readings. Thank you so much for, you know, watching. I really appreciate it. If this resonated with you in any way, shape, or form, this video rather, you can follow the Bowtie Psychic YouTube page, comment, share, like, um, press that subscribe button, the little bell, so you'll never miss another video. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm more active on um, Facebook and Instagram. So you can also, hit me up if you have any questions or comments. You can email me at bowtiepsychic@gmail.com. Um, go to my website, Bowtie Psychic, the bowtiepsychic.com. Especially if you want to book a reading or read any of the blog um, entries. So, on that note, Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your energy. I really appreciate your time. Um, I'm looking forward to doing this in July. I know July is just around the corner. In fact, it's literally tomorrow. But I'm so excited to get started, um, especially since I have so many stories to tell in regards to each sign. So, on that note, I will see y'all later. And I'm just really happy to tap into your energies and to share that energy with you. So, um, on that note, peace.